So let's get into our session on support vector machines. Support vector machines is one of a very popular and simplest algorithm in the machine learning domain, because it doesn't use your probability techniques and other things. It's very simple, where you can try to apply for any classification problem or a regression problem. Initially support vector machine was used majorly in the 90s for classification problem. Later it was it became popular, and then people started using for image classification and text identification as well. Okay, so here the major motivation of SVM algorithm is to create a hyperplane, a decision boundary, you can call that, or a best line, that you're just trying to figure a hyperplane where you can able to segregate your data or classify your data into different groups, different categories. Okay, so here SVM is one of the major machine learning algorithms, which is taught during the machine learning foundation classes. Okay, this is actually based on support vector. Support vector is nothing but the extreme cases that you have in your each data category. We'll be discussing all this in detail in our forthcoming slides. Okay, so let's take an example here. So we have a sample data set with the male and female heights and weights. Okay, so when you plot that in a chart, you see you have height in y-axis and weight in x-axis. So when you try to plot, usually we have a a belief that women will be thinner, shorter, and with less weight, whereas men will be tall, with little fatter, with muscle, and then good weight. So that's a basic assumption that we have. Then when you plot it, you can see a graph like this. Okay, so now you introduce only any one of the new variable where you want to predict gender. Okay, see here I have height and weight. So here this is my female group and this is my male group. So I here have something. So with the height of 110, and weight of 170 pounds. So when I have this I think, I don't know whether this person is a male or female. So when I'm trying to categorize this by creating a hyperplane in this way, with line 2, that person becomes a female, whereas when I use a line 1, that person becomes a male. So we really don't know. Okay, so to predict this gender, what we're supposed to do? So here we are trying to create a hyperplane which has a maximum space between the rest of the groups. Okay, so we have to choose a line like this. Okay, so when you do this, I can create a maximum space within the groups by using the line 2 as well as line 1, right? So when I just use the line 2 here, these two people become the persons who are at the end of that particular class. So here I have this person who's at the end of this class. Okay, so here I have a maximum distance between the point in the male category, whereas here it is not the maximum point. Okay, it's very little. So when I try to shift to this line, so here I have my points. So when I measure the distance between the hyperplane to the both of the points, the distance looks more when compared to this. Okay, so here it says 175 with 165, so it's 10 points, and then maybe here just 2 points, so 12. But here it's between 170, sorry, 168 until 182. So comparatively this is little a bigger one. Okay, so this is just a a sample diagram. Just don't look into the numbers, very specific. Okay, so here let's assume that these 2 points are like completely like um, wide, and then this lines separates these two categories with the highest distance margin. So the distance between these 2 points, you call that as a distance margin, and always should be maximum. Okay, and this is my hyperline, and this is the points. So in technical terms, we can call this 2 points as a support vectors, because these are the vectors which which supports us to like create this identify the right hyperplane. Okay, so that's why it is called as support vectors. Okay, so this is our hyperplane. So when we use this line, so we are able to categorize this point as a male. Okay, so we always have to note that the hyperplane should be as far as possible between the support vectors, both of the support vectors. Okay, and this is our distance margin. So this is your d minus, and this is your d plus. When you sum it up, you call that as a distance margin. Okay, yeah, here it's a d plus. Okay, because this is a positive distance and it becomes a negative distance, that's why called as d minus and d plus. Okay, so from the distance margin we'll be able to get a optimal hyperplane. Okay, hope you're able to like understand all this. So with this we were able to identify this person is a male. Okay, so let's imagine you tend to like create a hyperplane which is not optimal. What will happen? You'll be like end up misclassifying your points. So we just like assume this point, this line is going to be hyperplane instead of this. In that case, we are end up misclassifying this person as a female instead of male, right? So you have to be very careful in like selecting a hyperplane, because you'll end up misclassifying the points. Okay, so let's get into the kernel part. Okay, let's see, you have a sample data set which looks like this. Maybe you think, okay, these people are um, female and these people are male. I mean, or you take something else. Okay, so this is a group and this is a group. Here you cannot create a hyperplane to classify them, right? So for that we will be like using a kernel. I mean, we are like actually like converting this one-dimensional data into two-dimensional data, so by kernel method. Okay, so here we are using a function called y equal to x square. So we are just squaring your x values, okay, and keeping the y values the same. So when we do that, you're able to get points plotted like this. And now with the hyperplane in the two-dimensional data, we'll be able to like segregate the two groups. Okay, so here with the here y equal to x squared is a function that we're using, which is nothing but your linear kernel. Okay, imagine you have a data set which looks like this. You have like points all scattered over, and then you have all the red dots, a group with red dots in the center, and you have like a group with all the green dots at the outer point. So here you cannot segregate these two classes by using a hyperplane. Whatever that you do, you can try like this whatever you do, you cannot able to segregate this group to a hyperplane. In that case, you have to transform this data from two-dimensional to three-dimensional. Okay, so here what you'll be doing is you will be like creating a z-axis, whereas you have x squared plus y squared is equal to z. Okay, so here you're applying a kernel where you convert your two-dimensional data into three-dimensional. So here you can able to see really, you can able to like classify your data into two different groups through a hyperplane. It's because you are like squaring your x as well as your y, and then summing it up and then creating a other feature. Okay, this is same thing which is like applied in image classification as well. So I have few people asking about image classification, so you can try image classification using SVM as well. If you're like more interested in that, you can try SVM instead of going for deep learning methods like initially. Okay, so you have a label data with cats and dogs, and then you train your model, and then you get a new image, and you don't know whether it's a cat or dog, and then you will be able to like you know find that okay, that's a cat. Okay, this is SVM is like very much equipped to like do this, and then when you I think Namebases can also do a good job on image classification apart from SVM. So there's different types of SVMs available, algorithms. It's a linear and non-linear SVM. So if you're able to like classify your data into two classes using a single straight line, you can call that as a linear separable data, which is a linear SVM machine learning model. Whereas if you're not able to classify your data into a straight line, then that is becomes your non-linear data. Then only you will be like applying your kernel tricks to, so that you can able to like classify them through a hyperplane. So that is called as a non-linear SVM. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, SVM is like also used for face reduction, image classification, text categorization. Okay, yeah, I already explained what is support vector machine, but here's a definition for that. So any data point or vector which is like kind of closest to your hyperplane, which affect the position of the and they should be affecting the position of the hyperplane. So when they do that, you can call them as a support vector. Okay, how does these works? Okay, so we'll be having a small example here. Okay, so imagine you have a data set which with a green and blue tags. Okay, so you just have a data where you plot plot, you just like have a graph like this. Okay, in the two-dimensional space, you will be able to separate these classes into two. So you can call that as a linear SVM. Okay, so here you can able to like create a distance margin, and then you can able to have hyperplane, an optimal hyperplane. This is a perfect linear SVM. Whereas in the non-linear SVM, when you plot your points, you'll not be able to separate your data using a straight line. Then what we do? We actually go for a another dimension where we calculate z equal to x squared plus y square, and then when you plot, you'll be able to see a data like this. Okay, I'm just explaining this with in another example so that you'll be able to understand it better. Okay. Because here I have a sample code for for SVM. So here I'm just like generating the data. Okay, with just like 500 samples, and then what I'm just like using a linear kernel. Okay, from sklearn, and then I'm like fitting the model, and then I'm creating a model, and I'm trying to find the weights and bias. Okay, and you can also able to plot a hyperplane. Okay, when we like run this code, when you reshape and run this code, you'll be definitely able to like plot all the points in a scatter plot, and then you'll be able to create a hyperplane when you use this code. Okay, so that you'll be able to like see a graph like this. Yeah. Okay, Hope you had a very good understanding on SVM so far. Like we have been discussing what is SVM, what is a hyperplane, what is support vectors, and then different types of SVMs, linear, non-linear, how you can transform uh, your one-dimensional data to two-dimensional, and from two-dimensional to three-dimensional. Actually, until you able to like create a hyperplane proper in a proper way, so that you can able to like segregate your um, uh, data into two or three different classes, you will be doing this. You'll be like continuously creating higher dimensional data. Okay, so that comes your polynomial and radial kernel functions as well. Okay, so this is just an introduction to SVM. Hope you all had a very good understanding on this. If you got any questions, you can just like ask me right now.